I have this final story to offer you. Some years ago, I had a chance to meet and have a reflection with Ralph Daniels from Dayton, Ohio. As I met Ralph and got to know Ralph, I realized that Ralph had been a captain in the United States Army in World War II. He had been a pilot on a B-24 bomber in the Pacific. And as I talked to him about his experience, he told me about the longest and most treacherous mission that he and his crew had ever been on through the 2 years they were in combat in the Pacific fighting the Japanese during World War II. He told me about one particular mission that it was a mission where his squadron rendezvoused with other squadrons forming a mass armada, and they traveled a long distance in the Pacific to bomb Japanese air bases in what was then known as French Indochina. It is now what we know of as Vietnam. The mission was not well planned, it was not well executed, and as they broke away from their mission and got away from the Ack and the fighters, they said everybody got dispersed. A lot of people got lost. His airplane that he was piloting ended up being lost at night, running out of fuel as he was trying to find a friendly airbase. But it was Japanese territory. He was flying 12,000 feet over a dark ocean at night full of sharks. He talked to his crew and said, "We're running out of fuel. They're a 10-man crew. What do we want to do?" They all agreed the only reasonable thing is to bail out by parachute, try to form up in the water to find some protection and hope that the Americans found him before the Japanese found them. So as Ralph Daniels told me the story, everybody had harnessed their parachutes, were ready to bail out of the lower bays, and he reached over across his co-pilot to grab the mic to say, "Bail out," as he was turning into a real tight starboard turn so that people would fall close to each other. And as he reached for that mic, he saw out of the total darkness a flash of light. A flash of light. And he said, "Oh my God." He didn't know what it was or where it was or who it was, but he turned in his darkness. He turned the other way and went towards that light, landed on the only friendly airfield in the area, who had been cautioned not to leave lights on, but to every 15 minutes send a light skyward in case there were any lost aviators out there. They landed and were saved by that light in the midst of darkness, in the midst of treachery. Now, as Ralph Daniels told me this story, it resonated with me, and I thought I'd heard the story before. And as I reflected on it, I realized, and he helped me to understand, I had heard that same story as a child as I listened to my father's World War II stories, because my father, Henny Brooks, was the top turret gunner on Ralph Daniels' B-24 bomber on the same night, in the same plane, with the same dangers, looking for the same light that brought him safely back from the war. Look for that light. Try to find that light in the darkness that calls you home, to a home base where you can be encouraged, nurtured, refueled, and set sail again for a new tomorrow.